3 on a Sundays AM, 7 till 10 p.m., 8 till 11 Eastern Standard Time. Don't you miss it. Feeling lethargic? Feeling lazy?
Hello.
How are you guys doing today?
Good. How are you guys doing?
How are you guys doing?
Good, thank you.
Sol, you look beautiful, Marisol. You look beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you. You too. You guys are looking amazing, bringing great energy, great night that we're going to share this level of power.
Hello, Marisol.
Hey, so how are you?
Good. Great to see you.
Long time no see. It's been like, what, a year maybe?
Yeah, just about.
Yeah, it's crazy.
All right. Let's see. There we go. Thank you.
I think the internet.
Just a little technical difficulty.
Yeah.
That's all.
That's all.
Same. I spent an hour trying to set up my microphone and camera, and then when I came in to log in, everything just froze and is like there was a red screen and I can't see anything. So I'm restarting my laptop right now. Perfect timing.
Yeah, that's what happens because one second.
But you got on here. That's all that matters. So. We can't hear you.
There you go. Well,
there you go.
It's all happening, but we functioning. Right?
Yes, of course.
That's what really matters because these are the things that happens when we look back at 2025 and almost to the conclusion. Things happen. But how do we bounce back? How do we keep steady, right? And we all can chime in at any time because it's open discussion. These are the things that show us, well, how do you keep steady?
Right.
Even though things are happening and you still got to stay focused and move forward. What holds you down? Go. No, you go.
No. I was going to say that's actually beautiful that you said that because it's going to go right along with our topic. You know, that no matter what, people think that in healing, right? That, oh my God, I'm healed. Like this is a magic, thing that it just makes everything else disappear. But no, it's like things will always happen. But it's just having the tools, the appropriate tools to know that you got to keep going and you keep moving forward no matter what the obstacles are, no matter what comes your way. You just keep moving. You keep flowing with life.
And I think that is what we want to welcome everyone who's joining us tonight in Thank you for subscribing to our channel. But yes, you still have to find that flow, right? You still got to keep moving, because then you stay stuck,
Right.
right? You stay stuck. And that is why I'm so glad you spoke about, that is why you have to have the tools. And one of the things that we do in all our show, Enrichment, Mind, Body, and Soul, which we are on tonight, in Soul, Light, and Body, is giving tools, bringing the amazing guests on that can provide tools. Because people want to know, well, what are you going to help me with that's going to help me better my today, where I am, or better my tomorrow, or help me to set the tone, how I can move on in the future? So that is what we try to do, and on all the shows that we do, is bring on the amazing guests, have amazing guests on to provide tools, different modalities that keep you grounded, keep you steady, because life is going to happen. Like we see tonight, the different glitches and stuff like that, but that don't stop us.
That's right.
That don't stop us. We propel forward, because the goal in mind is to keep moving forward, not letting anything that happen hinder us, because you have to able to navigate, I think, right, Saul?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's what it's all about. It's not a magic wand, it
Right?
takes work, but it's definitely, having the tools and also having the right guidance. People show up here because at the end of the day, you're giving the words of wisdom that are necessary in order for people to get that enlightenment to be able to move forward, right? Sometimes we need to hear that one thing that will
True.
propel, just that one little thing that we needed for that day to really be like, oh my gosh, aha.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah. And that's what's going to happen tonight. There are going to be some aha moments, that one thing, one sentence, one word, because it's a great topic we have tonight, which is helping us closer to understand mental health, depression, anxiety, and the amazing guest that we have tonight, who's going to really expand our toolbox, expand our toolkit, so that we can fill it up. And it's such a great time right now that we need everything that we can put in our toolbox, our toolkit, our bucket, or whatever you want to call it, that can help you to rise above when you're feeling those feelings, when
Right.
you're feeling down, when you're not feeling your great, your best. Because one of the things is that we all want to live the best version of ourselves. Who are we? And how do we find that? How do we hold on to that? And when those moments arises in our lives, what do we reach for? What is your spirituality, whatever that may be for you? Or what is it, the modality? And I think we want to ask the audience tonight to have your notepad and pen and take those notes, because there will be a moment in your life that you're going to need something. You might not have anyone there with you, but you can have something in your toolkit that you say, you know what, let me try this. I heard that on Enrichment, Mind, Body, and Soul. Let me see how that's going to help me, how that's going to support me, how that's going to empower me as a person, because I'm experiencing something, or I'm coming out of something, right? Yeah, I'm coming out of something. And how can I stay strong and feel empowered and still go forward? My job, my relationship, whatever it may be for you, because it's different facets to it, to navigate through those spaces and through those waters. And sometimes it's something new. It's a new something you might be experiencing. And you're saying, what does it, why am I feeling this way? And so that is why it's such a great show tonight. It's a time that we are counting down 2025 and looking forward to 2026, but we're not there yet. We still have to complete before we get started. So to complete and get started, that is why we have this subject and topic we're going to talk about tonight. And so we want to just thank all of you who supported us throughout the months, in collaboration, right? Dropping in the message. And we might not get back to you right on time because so many things is going on. But just know that we, in our hearts, we love you. And we will get through to that. So we're going to have a quiet moment where we're going to just sit back, relax, drop into yourself, drop into your spirit, and just enjoy this music of meditation so that you can stay grounded, so that you can receive all that is going to be offering tonight to you. My name is
Woo!
Lady J. Yeah, let's do it. Go ahead, Lady K.
Oh my goodness.
Can you hear
Get
us?
this started. No matter what, we're gonna get this started.
Of course, of course. But you know, because it shows us all that things happen, right?
Right.
And then what do you do? Do you stay stuck, or do you find a way how to win?
We're winning.
Right. So that is why it's super important. So when these things happen, you say, well, you pause and you acknowledge what is happening. You don't
Absolutely.
jump over it. You acknowledge this is what is happening. But then you pause and you say, well, what do I do? Stop, pause, you take some breaths and say, how do I move forward beyond this moment? That
Right.
I am still
Exactly.
able to add the level of value that I'm showing up to give.
Absolutely. And you know, today is such a perfect day for us to do this topic
Mhm.
because today is World Meditation Day.
That's
Okay.
right.
Today is World Meditation Day, and what a perfect day for us to do this particular topic because with meditation, it helps us in so many ways,
Of course.
especially when it comes to PTSD, to depression, and to anxiety. It calms us down and it helps us to focus. It helps us to focus. And you know, before we start off this podcast this evening, we're going to go into that space of meditation. And Saul, we just want to hear your calming voice as this music is going to be playing. Also, Marisol, we just want to hear both of your voices, and we all going to pitch in our voices into this meditation space so we can uplift, we can empower, and we can help with evolution of humanity. So here we go. Just get into a comfortable position at this point in time and just relax. Just do some deep breathing because focus on your breath. Your breath is super important at this point in time. Whatever you may be experiencing at this point in time, we invite you to close your eyes, get into a comfortable position, and focus on your breath, focus on your breathing. Take a deep breath in and exhale. Take a deep breath in and exhale. Imagine at this moment, whatever is bothering you, whatever thoughts, see it as you're breathing out these thoughts. Fall.
So at this time, I want to invite you to follow through with your breathing, but make sure that as you inhale, you're breathing in through your nose. As you exhale, you're breathing out through your mouth. Do that 4 times slow right now. Make sure that the breath out is longer than the breath in. So just inhale. There's no right way to breathe right now. Just notice the exhale, all your release. I invite you to place your left hand on your heart if you feel called to. and your right hand over your solar plexus, which could be the mid-abdomen, and continue to breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth. This simple breathing actually helps regulate your nervous system. So just continue to breathe. Feel your shoulders drop. Feel the warmth of your body. You're present. You are here. You are safe. Notice your feet on the floor or the chair you're sitting. This is how you ground. You can come back to a present state. If you're ever going through an anxiety moment, you play some music as such. Something that can help ground you with what I just walked through. But you can also silently notice 5 things that you can continue to breathe. Four things that you can feel. Think about 3 things that you can hear in your surroundings. Things that you can smell. As I invite you to take a last deep breath, I want you to think of one thing that you're grateful for at this very moment. I invite you to take one more slow breath in and give a long exhale. Yes. You can gently return your attention to the room and just notice how more relaxed you feel right at this moment. This is what regulation looks like. A small practice to help you bring you into the present.
Marisol. John, Lady J.
Let's focus and just continue to work on those breaths. Let's focus what we're grateful for. We've came through this year. We might have gone through many things, but we have risen. We have moved beyond those spaces, and we're here now. Let's focus on that level of gratitude. Let's find a space in our heart to let go what is not serving us well, so we can lighten our burden as we conclude 2025 and move forward into 2020 much lighter, much freer. Let's give that gratitude for how far we have come and who we continue to be who we are becoming. Let's give gratitude for our evolution. Let's give gratitude for stepping higher, because as we release those burdens, as we release those things that we carry with us that is not serving us well, as we release that, we're making room, we're making space for newness. Continue taking those breaths, and as you breathe that breath in and you hold it, and as you exhale, you welcome peace to start in your being. You welcome in clarity as you get ready to move in a new direction. You're leaning into your inner wisdom, and you're taking that step to be centered and balanced for yourself, so that every next step that you take in your life is a step with clarity. It's a step for new understanding. It's a step for greater insights. It's a step for new perspective. It brings you to a level of whole alignment, and it gives you the level of peace that as you move forward and conclude 2025, you're fully grounded. You're moving into a space where you can claim what is yours. You're anchored. So as you use this breath, as you take those deep breaths in, and as you exhale, continue to exhale what is not serving you well. Know that you are good enough. Know that you are capable. Know that you are unique. Know that you are special. And know, yes, you deserve the best. And as you continue to take those breaths, you know that 2025 is going to conclude to give you everything that you need, and that you're able and you have all the tools to move forward stronger, wiser, better, grounded as you step into 2026. So hold on to that and return to the space, knowing that you have what it takes.
Wow, this was truly amazing. This was truly amazing, because meditation is a powerful self-care tool. And we all can do this. we all can transport ourselves into that space of calmness. Whatever experiences that we are going through at this point in time, we can take ourselves to that space. We have the ability to take ourselves to that space. We have the resilience to take ourselves to that space. You know, and the thing is that when we are going through these experiences, we tend to forget that we have all the tools at hand. Because at that moment, we become so clouded and we start to judge ourselves. And the subconscious mind, with all the thoughts, the conditioning just racing through our heads at that point in time, and it put a fog that we tend to forget that we have the tools within us to bring ourselves back into that space of balance, centeredness, and wholeness. We came here with that. We came here built for these experiences. These experiences that we go through in life is form of evolution. It's to help us to evolve. It's to help us to grow. But many times we really can't see that, because in that space, as I said before, there are so many things happening in that space. But in that space, then is when we reach out. We reach out and get the right kind of help. That is why we got to surround ourselves with the right kind of people. We got to place ourselves in the right kind of community, that in times when we need that help, we can get the right kind of help from that special friend, from that special group, that special community, that special coach, that special therapist. We can reach out and we can get that help that we need. But many times we use fear, we use shame, we use those to block ourselves from the healing and the help that we need. Many times we tell ourselves that we can do it on our own, but we can't. We try, we can't. But there is no room for giving up. We are here to let you know tonight, there is no room for giving up. We are here to hold you up. We are here to support you. We are here to give you all the necessary tools that you need in order for you to evolve and experience evolution. We are here this evening to help you. We are here to hold your hand and to help you as an individual, because you are an evolving soul. That is what you are. You are an evolving soul. We're going to empower you so you can empower yourself, that you can experience that transformation that you need to experience this evening. Something magical going to happen this evening in your life. So prepare yourself for the magical moments that is going to be unfolding in your life. You carry this burden too long. Too long you have carried this burden. And it's time for you to release that burden. Release yourself. Listen to your soul. Listen to your higher self. Tap into that intuition. Trust yourself. You are here. You're here for a purpose. Your soul chose this lifetime to come back, and it chooses to evolve. So whatever you're going through at this point in time, we just want to let you know that you can come through. We have walked those paths and we know it's hard, it's difficult, but you can come through because you're built, you got that resilience, and you can come through. So this evening, we just want you to sit back Make sure you got a notepad and a pen, because a lot of things is going to be unfolding this evening, because we're going to allow Spirit to use us and bring the right message for you so you can evolve. And if you know a friend who can benefit from this podcast this evening, we highly suggest that you share us out. We highly suggest that you invite someone else into this space, a family friend, a loved one, a brother, a sister, a aunt, a niece, a nephew. Bring them into this space this evening, because they will get a message that is going to lead them to healing. We so appreciate that you're taking this time to sit with us. And don't fight, do not fight this process. Just allow, do not fight, do not force, do not fight. Just allow, because you're going through the metamorphosis state. And when you come out from this state, you will never be the same. You will never be the same person that went in. But I'm going to toss the mic now, because you know what? We all have a message for you this evening, and a message of healing, empowerment, and transformation. I'm Lady K, and I'm here to help to transform lives. I'm here to help with the evolution of humanity. That is what myself, my sister Lady J, Saul, Marisol, Tom, Will, and all the rest of guests that appear on this podcast, we are here to help with the evolution of humanity. Saul, take the mic.
Well, wow. What a way to start it. Wonderful message. And thank you for having me on. Thank you for this topic. I truly appreciate it. And thank you for allowing me to speak upon it. I'm really glad that we started with meditation, because meditation is what saved my life. It wasn't therapy. It wasn't me talking to somebody. It was meditation. And I know a lot of people say, oh, I can't meditate. I can't quiet my mind. That's the thing. We have so much going on that we don't know how to quiet the mind. And this is why it's so important to learn how to meditate. That's why breath work is so important. And before I really start, I just want to go into kind of the biology of how we're affected on that sense, on a physical sense, right? Lady K spoke about it a little bit, and I just want to kind of go a little deeper into it. When you are stuck dealing with depression, anxiety, when you're dealing with PTSD, you are stuck in a cycle of trauma, and you keep replaying that in your head. Things will continue to be triggered if you relive it in some way, shape, or form. You will continue to live that cycle out. And if that's the only thing that you have going on in your mind, and you can't change your thoughts to anything else, then that is all you're going to continue living. And what happens is, when you continue feeling the same thing within you, you're releasing neurochemicals, and your biochemistry is adapting to being sad, to being depressed, to feeling anxious. So unless you can change that with thoughts, it's not going to change. And that's why they say depression is a chemical imbalance. Indeed, it is. You're flooded with those chemicals throughout your body, and because we continue to have the same thoughts, those chemicals continue to be released in our body. And so there is nothing else that we can feel at that moment. We're not giving ourselves any serotonin or any dopamine for the body to balance that out. An anxiety tip, our system is completely dysregulated. You know, we're stuck in a state of survival. And what happens at that time is you're playing with the autonomic nervous system. If our sympathetic nervous system never has the opportunity to kick in, our body can't find stability. It can't find that equilibrium that the autonomic nervous system is set out to do, where our parasympathetic and sympathetic can work equivalently to bring us out of survival. And when we're living in a state of survival, like 90% of us are at this time, we're affected on an ailment level that soon becomes high blood pressure, diabetes, things as such. So when we talk about holistic lifestyle, holistic wellness, it's because everything affects the other. And until one system is regulated, the others cannot. They will only be catching up to you because the body does keep score. I say all that because I think it's important for people to understand what's going on in their body as they're having these thoughts. It's very difficult for somebody that is outside of it to tell you what you're supposed to feel when you know inside all you feel is sadness, or all you feel is that anxiety, that panic. You know, you're living these triggers. You're literally living them. Your brain doesn't know the difference between past, present, or future. And so you're literally reliving this continuously over and over. Our body's going through these changes. We have to bring awareness to these things in order for us to put a stop to it. I will go into just share a little bit about my story, just so you guys understand that I'm speaking from a place of not just knowledge. What happened with me and my story basically is what brought me to obsess on the body, obsess on the spiritual side as well. I was in the medical field for 15 years. I have my biology degree already. I'm already obsessed on that side and how the mind works. I began to become obsessed on how spiritually, through meditation, I was changing. I couldn't go to a therapist because they couldn't understand what I was going through. They couldn't. Therapists are taught through a book how they're supposed to treat you. And they can tell you what they think, but at the end of the day, even what we say there can be used against us, whether people believe it or not.
True, that's true.
And so how do we trust that? How is that a safe container when you can't even freely speak upon what you're really feeling, right? I was dealing with, I think that the thing that really brought me down to my knees was the relationship, the last cycle that I went through in a relationship of 8 years, in a domestic violent relationship. And this man had my family threatened. Anytime I tried to get away, I felt trapped. I felt trapped completely, totally engaged in depression and anxiety. The post-traumatic stress that occurred from that relationship alone was ridiculous, let alone the post-traumatic stress that I had already dealt with since childhood, from being physically and sexually abused by my own father. So these things play out until you get to the point where you can recognize them. That was a cycle that repeated itself because I didn't recognize it, right? And so when I personally went for help, I saw that talking to somebody wasn't helping me. I had to find the help myself. And I did that through meditation, through my own knowledge. Thank God I already had the biology background, but that's what I mean. I do this because I know the importance of no longer being silent, of finding the help that is needed. I know the importance of having somebody there when you need that, because healing is a journey. It's not like you say, oh, I'm healing, so now I'm better. It doesn't necessarily occur like that. Just because you're healing doesn't mean that you're not going to get hit with a trigger. I got out of my domestic relationship, the abusive relationship, 9 years ago. I'm finally now in a healthy one, but triggers still come up. Because guess what? Our body remembers. Our mind will remember. The only difference now is that I am aware of where I am, is that I can recognize these patterns a lot better, is that I now have tools to use when these things come up, and can get myself out of this state at a much faster rate, right? Because I am aware. So I just want to bring that to people's attention, because these are not things that will just go away. What it does is it brings things to the table so you can recognize why you're facing certain things, so you can become aware of how the body's reacting to those things, and so you can get to the root cause of why these things are even coming up. Once you can get to that degree, you can definitely use the tools to make sure that you bring yourself back to the present moment and realize you are safe. You are no longer in that state. And something that Lady K said really hit deep, because it's very true. Once you realize that and get to that point of healing, you realize that there's definitely a way out. You're never going to be able to go back to that person, because you know that that was just a state of mind at that time for that reason. So there's no way you can't evolve. There's no way you can't get better. There's no way you can't be grateful. Actually, gratitude is one of the main things that'll help you get out. Remembering everything around you that you need to be grateful for, that you can say, thank you, God. Thank you for this. Thank you for that. Sometimes when we're depressed and we're dealing with that, we're stuck in that cycle where there is nothing that you can tell us that we can be happy at. You could have put me in the middle. I posted a picture today where I'm in a tropical area, and I remember at that time, I would have probably been there crying, because you couldn't get me out of the misery that I felt inside. So super important. And I want to pull it out because, guys, I just want to tell you, it's okay to feel these things. There's a reason you're feeling it. Your body is telling you, I need help. There's a reason all these emotions are coming up. There's a reason your nervous system is out of whack. There's a reason for it all. You just have to discover it. And once you do, the possibilities are endless. Your future will forever be evolving to whatever you choose it to be. You don't have to be stuck. You don't have to stay feeling like that. I know it's hard to hear, but it is a choice. And I hope that with all this help that you see on this screen right now, and everybody that you see here, you understand that there's definitely a brighter side. There is definitely a way out. And there are people out here in this world that love you, that have this hand right here that will hold yours. All right. And I know I can probably say that I know for my sisters for sure, that will hold your hand, because sometimes you need that. Somebody to call you and say, hey, get up, go take a shower. I know you don't want to, but go take a shower. You know, call you and say, it's okay. All right, you cried. All right, let's get it out. Now we got to do this, and make sure that you do it, because those things are important. Personally, for me, therapy did not help. It was me pushing myself to use all the tools first to get better before I can actually reopen those wounds and get back to a painful place that is only going to make me live that pain again, when I was in no place to talk about it. Instead of drowning myself there, I chose to get myself out and then go to the root cause of what caused it all. That's just my personal experience. And it's the way that I've helped quite a few of my clients be able to get out of this state of being, because it is a state of being. On a biological sense, it's a state of being. We're chemically forcing ourselves to be that way. The triggers, though, that's a whole nother ball game that I will definitely pass the mic on to Marisol, because I'm sure she has a lot to share with us deeper on this subject.
Thank you, Sol.
Hi, thanks, Sol. I keep hearing a lot of background noise, so not to be a pain in the butt. There's like somebody like breathing heavily. I don't know if you guys hear it too, or if it's just mine. And like I'm trying to listen to Sol. But yeah, everything's been everything that Sol shared, a lot of it resonated with me, especially coming from the veteran community. And being taught to essentially suppress a lot of those things, right? As you go through your career, it's highly frowned upon to talk about the things that you're going through, because essentially, like what you hit, Sol, is like when you share it with a doctor or medical doctor, it can be used against you, right? And even though they're supposed to like not disclose parent, not parent, patient doctor confidentiality, there's things that like, if the person is suicidal, then they do have to report it to the commander and things like that. So it's like, okay, I'm going to go seek help, but then I'm going to get, you know, reprimanded because now they think I'm crazy and all these other things. So it's not uncommon, and I'm sure you guys see this pretty often on social media. You know, 22 veterans a day commit suicide. It is way more than that. I mean, those are just the ones that we know about. But there's a lot more than that, to include like homeless veterans that end up killing themselves. But so this is something that's very near and dear to me as far as PTSD, mental health, and just in working to overcome a lot of those things, right? Rising above the wounds, which is what brought me to establish Phoenix Rising Holistic Center. It's still in process. Don't ask me when it's going to be done. But a lot of the things that you talked about resonated because the main thing is the body keeps the score. Why do veterans look so beat up after they get out? Because all of those things that you're suppressing, your body one way or another is looking for a way to release all of those things, whether it's anger or frustration, anxiety, depression, you name it, right? There's like the diagram, excuse me, about the different emotions and where they manifest in your body. If you asked me about this 5 years ago, maybe 7 years ago, not about 5 years ago, but 7 years ago, if you talked to me about chakras and, you know, body and where things happen, I would be like, yeah, you're crazy, you're a hippie, and I'm not talking to you about it. But now it's like, now that I understand it, even to include with like my family, like when they're having body ailments, I was like, okay, well, this is the pattern that's going on. And as I would talk to the people that I would work with, like when they had problems with their thyroid or they would have cancer, like Joe Dispenza, who I'm a huge fan of, he talks a lot about how your body starts manifesting ailments when you don't heal, essentially, when you're not finding ways to release all of that energy, because essentially it is energy, right? Tesla talks about, if you want to understand the mysteries of the universe, think about them in frequency, energy, and vibration. And that's essentially what we all are: frequency, energy, and vibration. And it has to go somewhere. And when you're not releasing it in a healthy way, then everything gets bottled up inside and it results in illnesses, diseases in your body, to include like the worst, which is like suicide. So also being aware of your traumas. I've recently become more familiar with Ibogaine, but I went through, unlike like we just did meditation, I went from completely hating anything that had to do with psychedelics, again, being in the military, to next thing I know, I'm going to Peru and doing ayahuasca. And that was a whole like unveiling of my traumas that I wasn't expecting. And then what was on the flip side of that was just beautiful and love, and being able to take the things that happened to me, right? Getting out of that victim mentality and using that as a stepping stone to evolve, essentially. Like, is everything, and you know, it's probably not a very popular thing to say, but it's like, you know, everything in life does happen for a reason. And for me, I can't speak for anybody else, but for me, I am grateful for every situation that's happened in my life, to include, you know, sexual assault and rape when I was a kid, and sexual assault when I was in the military, all of those things, because it's shaped to the person, the woman that I am today. Every relationship, good or bad. So when you're able to find the positive on every aspect of your life, it's essentially you're just getting stronger and stronger, but in a beautiful way, not a stronger in a resentful way. So you're able to recognize the trauma and use it as a stepping stone to make you a better person, a more loving person, a freer person more than anything, because everything else is just like you're repressing more and more, like that fight or flight. It's like, I have to do things so that I can be loved. And in reality, you don't, right? You're a divine creation by God. And just the fact of you being you are loved, you are a beautiful person. And when you're able to switch that back into your mind, man, it's just like you can't not wake up in the morning and feel gratitude. You cannot go to bed in the evening and wait and go to sleep with gratitude, because now you've been able to reshape a lot of the thoughts that were in your negative mind while you were in that fight or flight mentality. So meditation, breath work, all great tools. And for people that don't understand it, it's very hard to silence the mind, right? To sit still. Try getting somebody in today's day and age to sit still for 10 minutes. It is an act of God, because we're so accustomed to this phone that dictates our life. And then we're so accustomed to this phone that tells us what to think, what to see, what to believe. And the more, there's a great quote by Rumi. It says, "What you seek is seeking you." So the more you click on things that you like, the more you're going to find that. The concept is finding things that make you question stuff, and then finding the balance there. Because even in that aspect, when you're slowly integrating things that you don't normally agree with, that's also a way to rewire your brain into traumas that you're not aware of, right? Because you're so stuck on, this is what I believe, this is what I believe, this is what I believe, and you negate everything else that might be helping you to get into a balanced, healthy, healed life. So something else that you touched on is forgiveness of self. That is a hard thing to do, and love of ourselves, right? Yes, we can always say, let's say when people say, it's like, do you love yourself? Of course I love myself. But then I was like, okay, do you really feel that you love yourself? Like when somebody gives you a compliment, do you automatically, if I was to say, so I love your hair, and her answer was like, yeah, but I wish it was longer. That but immediately, that's already putting you in a space where you're like, okay, you're looking for things to self-deprecate and make yourself feel bad, instead of saying thank you, I love my hair too, and then complimenting the other person for something like that. So being aware of all those things. And for me, the last, as you guys were talking on meditation, as the last couple of years for me more than anything, and as I talk to my fellow veterans and people that are asking me, it's like, hey, how did you go from being a gung-ho Marine to now I'm like talking about ayahuasca and ibogaine and meditation, is like setting boundaries. That is the hardest thing to do for so many people, is like setting boundaries, and especially when it comes to family, right? The blood family, the family that you weren't born into. Setting boundaries when you're like, I am no longer going to accept this type of behavior because it puts me in a situation where I can't grow. And it's putting me in a situation where I'm having to let go of my peace, and that's something that I'm no longer doing, right? So as you transition from 2025 into 2026, allow yourself to set boundaries. One, assess the type of person that you want to be, right? What are the things that you admire from different people, and how many of those skills and qualities and things I'm talking about like wealth, right? That's a whole other subject, but like how many of those, let's call it traits from the other person, those are the people that you embody, and how are you going to become that person. And does it feel good for you when you say, hey, I want to be like that? Because it might not feel good. You just might be thinking that that's how you're supposed to be because social media tells you that. So as you're shaping yourself to become the best version of yourself, and you go into 2026, it's like, okay, what is aligned with that? Like what people, things, spaces, things in my house, in my home, in my apartment, in my car, whatever, what things are aligned with that, with becoming the best version of me. Clean your pantry out, because your pantry and what you're intaking, not just, what's on your phone, but what you're literally intaking, that has to do a lot with PTSD. How your gut is, 80% of the time, a lot of the traumas, a lot of the issues, a lot of the anger and frustration, it all starts with our gut, and we pay very little attention to it, right? I was like, I haven't pooped in 3 days. That's not normal.
Right.
That's not normal. So like start addressing all those things that allow you to become the best version of yourself. And something that I really, really enjoyed with a conversation with a friend of mine, changing the limiting statements from I have to, I need to, I must, to I choose to, I get to, and I love to. When you love to do things, everything else just falls into place. All those things that made you believe that you were insufficient, that are bringing you back to PTSD, to unhealthy thoughts, when you're able to start saying, I get to, I choose to, and I love to for actions, man, that is awesome. That is a great space to be on. So again, thanks ladies for giving me this opportunity. I look forward to getting to talk to y'all some more.
Thank you, Marissa.
Sohini?
Good morning, everyone. Actually, I'm from India and it's 6:35 a.m. here. So, yeah, I was hearing your conversation and all of you, and I feel anxiety, depression, and PTSD, all those things are like very common in these days. All of us have gone through all these things at least once in a time in our life, at least once in a time in our life. So I feel these things are very common. But the thing is, people in India, I have seen people, I have noticed them, I have talked to them, and people are very like they are very reluctant to go to the psychologist, or they just don't want to take the medical help. That's the thing for all these things, because they think that these things are very common. So what would doctor do, or what would a psychologist do? It's we can do it all. We can do it. I mean, we can help ourselves. We don't need to go to any professional for medical help. And the thing they do is like generally people used to suppress all these things, which in latter which in later life creates problem. So um, I also have gone through um, all these things like depression, anxiety, PTSD for a longer time period. It does not only affect our mind, it also affects our body. Like I have GERD, and every time I go through anxiety, depression, I feel like something is happening in my stomach. So GERD gets worsen because of that. I generally have gut problem, and it becomes worsen because of anxiety, depression, all those things. So definitely all these things are very common, but at the same time, we don't need to suppress it. We need to find a cure. I want to say here a single thing that is coming in my mind, and that is called neuroplasty. Like it is rewiring our nervous system, giving our nervous system a completely new thing, like uh, training our nervous system in such a way where I can find like all those mishappenings, or I can find all those problematic things in a new way and can give it a meaning. Suppose, for an example, suppose a person is kicked out by his boss, and he started his startup. So every single time his startup is growing after 5 years, after 10 years, every single time he is saying his mind that thank God my boss kicked me out. That's why I am doing this today. Instead of blaming that person. So that can be that is a very good example of neuroplasty. I first heard it from someone. So I feel that is very essential to know. Like we need to overcome all those things by looking those things from a different point of view, not from general eyes, because in general eyes things look different. But when we see things from different point of view, when our perspective is changed, I feel things starts working in a different way. So for PTSD, anxiety, depression, all these things, our amygdala, our hippocampus, all those things in brain gets affected. So I feel like, see, there are so many medical ways, there are so many medical terms, but today I want to give some simple remedies or simple healing tools. Like one is meditation. You people already discussed about it. First thing I want to say that is we need to regulate our nervous system, especially, I mean, after a prolonged time period of depression, anxiety, and PTSD, all these things are I mean, all these things affects our nerve too much. So first thing we need to do is regulate our nervous system. So we can do it by doing like simple breathe work, like 4, 6, 8 inhale, retaining and exhale work, simple type of belly breathing, alternative nostril breathing. Um, and during like PTSD, during any kind of trauma, the first thing we can do is grounding. Grounding is a very good tool, I guess, that helps a lot in PTSD. Grounding means like uh, feeling 5 things, taking the name of 4 things, hearing 3 things, touching one thing. Uh, by that way, it helps a lot. It helped me a lot. Or sometimes like splashing cold water on our face, that can also help during that period, because in cases of PTSD, our body goes to fight, flight, and freeze mode. So sometimes it happens we don't understand what is happening with us. The danger is already over, but our brain does not want to believe that. So grounding is very necessary for PTSD, and I would say like a regular habit, a regular routine is very necessary. Like sleeping at right time, morning sunlight at least for 10-15 minutes, not using phone or any kind of screen. I mean, limiting your screen time. It is very necessary. Um, and There are so many things actually that we can do at home without seeking the medical help, like mm, gentle yoga. We can do gentle yoga, grounding yogas. We can walk barefoot on grass. That helps a lot in stabilizing our nervous system. See, there are medical or professional, there are so many things when you go to a professional or seek medical help. There are CBT, there are somatic therapies. But I feel first, if the situation is not out of control, we need to do all these things, or we need to take the help of all these tools at home. Because at first stage, when things are very mild, things are not that much serious, we can do it at home by doing all these things. So nutritional support, that is very necessary for like anxiety, depression, and even for PTSD, like taking magnesium rich foods, omega 3, and especially taking warm foods. That helps in um, calming down our nervous system. And there are journaling helps a lot during my anxiety or depression. What I do is journaling. So journaling is one of the best things, because uh, almost every day, whenever I get time, I do journaling. There are two things you can do. One is journaling, and another is like manifesting. Suppose things are going wrong each and every time, we in our daily lives, we seriously feel problems, we seriously get face problems from different sectors, from different people. We get we get different kind of depressions. There are different kind of depressions, like um, work related depression, relationship related depression, family related depression. But one of the most effective thing I feel is maintaining a journal and maintaining a diary where we can manifest, when where we can like um, write all those things in positive manner, not in negative manner, right? So that rewires our nervous system so much, which I can do during my anxiety and depression, and it helps. It really helps me a lot. And there are, if situation is out of control, definitely we need to seek professional help, because normal counseling is not going to help in all those cases. But I feel the first thing is changing our perspective. First, we need to find out what is the actual problem, what is triggering ourselves, and self-evolution, introspection, and ultimately changing the perspective is the most effective, and I feel the only one and only way that can reverse all these situations. Because in daily life, stress and depression, especially both of these things are like they are our regular companion. We have to face it because we are going through. We have different. I mean, we are going through in such a like we are going through so many things like our office problems, our relationship problems. So depression and anxiety both are like very common. All of us. I don't feel that there is somebody who has not been faced all these things. Everybody, in fact, a person with 20 in his early 20s, they have also feel depression and anxiety in their lives. So all those things are like first we need to do self evaluation. We need to know what is triggering us, what is the trigger point, and then the thing is changing our perspective and rewiring our nervous system. That's the main thing I want to say. Thank you. So that's it.
May I piggyback off something that Sohini was saying?
Yeah.
I would like to make it a little more visual for everybody because sometimes we always talk about regulating our nervous system. So I'm going to go a little into what that means, right? I want to explain to you guys when we go into survival or when we're dealing with depression and anxiety and these things, I want to let you know what happens to your body. And this is what eventually causes these ailments because the problem is we stay in this state and are never able to go back to the parasympathetic or allow the parasympathetic nervous system to do its job and bring us back, right? So when you're in fright, flight, and fight, okay, your eyes dilate, your heart increases the heart rate, okay, your airways dilate so you can breathe better because technically remember your body's trying to survive, right? So your airways dilate, your bronchial tubes are all dilated, you sweat more, your liver increases the glucose and glycogen that it's releasing in the body because remember it needs energy right now, it's trying to survive, so it's releasing glycogen into your bloodstream so you can use it because you're trying to survive something. Your liver, your digestive system decreases because when you're in a fright, flight, and fight, you don't want to go poop or pee or nothing like that. So guess what? Your urinary system, your bladder actually relaxes so it can hold more urine, right? So you're not rushing to the bathroom. And these are things that are if it and your adrenal glands are releasing adrenaline and cortisol. So we're literally stressing our body out completely. This is happening because most of us are living in this state on a regular basis. And so if we don't take the time to do these methods, as she stated, as Sohini was telling us, grounding, right? As we've all mentioned, meditating, right? And being able to relax the whole biological system, all right? Just biologically, we need it, right? To bring us back to allow our parasympathetic system to go into play and do what it's supposed to do, right? If we never do that, we stay in survival, and these things stay happening. Everything that I just described, right? So this is why a lot of us are dealing with ulcers. This is why a lot of us are dealing with literally stressed out from all the adrenaline and cortisol. We're all like, da, 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 right? Yes, calm down. When people are telling you to calm down, literally, you need to calm down. And this is why she's talked about the neuroplasticity, something that's huge, right? As a facilitator, of psychedelics myself, I've seen this change. The beauty and the science behind that is the way that these affect your neuroplasticity in the brain. And this is why addicts and people that have been dealing with depression, anxiety, and PTSD will come out of a journey, right? And be able to face so many things and change so many things, because the neuroplasticity is happening like lightning strikes in your brain at that time, right? And so these habits are able to break and prune at a rapid pace versus just doing it regularly. Because to break or build a habit, you're talking about, to really instill it, you're talking about 90 days, right? At 30 days, you're kind of like, yeah, I got it, right? At 60, you're like, oh, okay, I'm getting there. At 90, you got it. Now that side is pruned and you have established a new connection, a new neural connection in your brain to change a habit. The beauty about the psychedelics is it helps that process so much faster, right? And I'm bringing this up because honestly, it's just becoming, I want to actually warn people that are dealing with this to not just deal with anybody and any facilitator when you're going for these journeys. Please look for somebody that knows what they're talking about and make sure that integration is occurring. It is probably the most important part, because in a journey, you're going through so much information and so much is going through your mind. It is important to have a facilitator that is taking you seriously. This is not just the hippie stuff, okay, guys? This is serious and can actually really help transform your life. But you need people that actually know what they're doing and that are going to take this serious to the point of helping you change and transform, right? This does affect your brain in a very positive way if people know what you're doing. Integration is critical after journeys. Critical. Maybe the most important part. I offer my clients one immediately after the journey, one 2 weeks after, and 2 months after. Because at 2 months, you're still having aha moments from what you did. All right. I'm dealing with cases right now where they had a facilitator who was giving it to them every month, not once integrated. It can bring somebody into psychosis. So please, if you're thinking about considering these things to help you with PTSD, depression, or anxiety, please understand that there are consequences if people don't know what they're doing. It's very important to go to somebody that knows what they're doing. Make sure that integration is a part of that process. So important for your health, to make sure that you actually come out on the other side the way this is meant to happen, right? I just wanted to say that because with the neuroplasticity, she made that come up, and I just wanted to give you guys the hindsight on what we mean when we say regulating your nervous system. It is bringing these things back into what they're supposed to be, our body back to balance. So if we never get out of survival, we never allow our parasympathetic nervous system to do its job. So I just wanted to say that really quick, guys. And thank you, Sohini, for bringing that up.
Tom?
Thank you.
Well, Tom is off.
There he goes.
We're
still having technical difficulties, that's all.
No, that was me. And by the way, I was going to jump in there and say something. And I was the one rocking and doing the heavy breathing,
It's okay.
That's okay. That's okay, Tom. That's okay.
But as you were talking, I love what you were just talking about. And basically due to hallucinogens and years, I was in the Army from 70 to 79. And at the time I had a low draft number and I went ahead and enlisted. And I am not the kind of person that was fitted for service. I'm on the spectrum. I've got a thing called Asperger's, where I don't read people's faces. I don't follow social cues. And if you're in an army of several million people, that doesn't work really well. But fortunately for me, I volunteered and I ended up in EOD, which I know Marisol would know what that is. That's bomb disposal. So we started out with 48 guys and 22 of us graduated because the training was so intense. And this is during Vietnam when they're pushing people through. They didn't get killed. They just couldn't handle the strain and the stress. And then I got in the field and my life was risked many times and doing all kinds of things. But the major problem is I had terrible social anxiety all through high school and the military. And my God, I would rather get fragged from an explosion than go to the mess hall, if that makes any sense at all. The level of social anxiety and fear, and I just knew, you think you're the focus of everyone's attention. And in fact, they really don't give a shit about you, but if you act weird enough, they'll notice you. So my way of coping with it was substance abuse. And that's the reason why my name is Tommy T in these things. It's because I'm in 2 12-step programs now, and I talk about that sometimes. And we're not supposed to be out here. It's an anonymous program. I don't need to be out here representing something running my mouth. Yeah, the military was hell. And then they made me an MP, someone who can't stand social consequences, that can't, stand any kind of social friction or anything. And I just stayed messed up on different substances all the time. That's how I got through. And I got out of the Army in 79. And within a couple months, within like 2 months, I'm starting to, I'm doing some hallucinogenics and stuff. And just like you said, pretty soon I wake up one day and I'm in a waking dream. They call it paranoid schizophrenia. And in the beginning, it was great because I had all this intense energy. I'd been studying Carlos Castaneda. I was doing all this stuff. I was going in the middle of, and I'm not much of an athlete, I would run pitch dark down this rough road at full speed and just have every foot was perfect. It was like I was superhuman in some ways, and my strength was insane. And the violence, I was married to a Korean woman and she came at me and I hurt her, and she was a black belt in Taekwondo, and our lives had been, it had not been good. But anyway, eventually I mess up bad enough after months that I get court committed to a psych ward. And I went through a couple of them and they drugged the living shit out of me. They drugged me where I couldn't feed myself or put clothes on. I'd taken martial arts and we were messing around in the day room at a VA hospital, and I kicked a guy in the throat. I pulled it. I didn't hurt him, but I kicked him in the throat and they freaked out. So they drugged me and injected me with things like Prolixin. And I finally figured out that they were going to turn me into a vegetable, like so many I saw in there. And you had all these guys coming in from Vietnam, right? Everybody was paranoid, schizophrenic, or manic depressive, or both, right? They didn't talk about PTSD. And there was one guy in there that had been in there, a World War I vet that had been in there since 1922. Okay. And other guys who they'd given lobotomies to, and other guys who, like aircraft, pilots had had a crash in World War II and run around in a leather helmet and spent all their time. I saw a lot of things in there. And guys who had been POWs that just lost their shit. A Marine captain who had a very big business, big business up in Seattle. He was a very, well-off contractor. And he'd been through World War II and the Korean War as an officer, and something happened and he went catatonic. And they just let him around. He had no connection with the outside world.
Wow.
Here was this guy. Okay. That's what PTSD and this kind of stress can do to an individual. I saw a lot of it, and I see a lot of it in my 12-step program. But yeah, one of the things that happened to me when I was there is they brought in my Korean wife. And they talked about me like I wasn't even in there. And what had happened is they drugged me until I shook all the time. And we called it totem pole. If I wanted to talk to you, I had to move my whole body. My neck was frozen. And I had, my tongue was constantly sticking out. It was tardive dyskinesia. And they told my wife that I would always be that way, that maybe I could get a job putting, caps on tubes at Goodwill, that I would always be that way for the rest of my life. And talked about me like, oh, the marriage is obviously dead. And so she went and filed and divorced me. And, it broke my heart that only recently have I started to deal with. So these are some of the abuses that happen in these places. I spent some time in a state psych ward, and it was beyond insane in there. So, and it took me 1.5 years, and I've never been the same since the treatment. It was like running into a wall at 190 miles an hour. And I will tell you one thing that happened. And like I said, it's like a waking dream. I'll give you one incident of the insanity and the type of magical thinking I had. There's a bridge they call Galloping Gertie. It went down. If you've ever seen a picture of a bridge flying around in a storm and people on the bridge and it going down. Okay, they rebuilt that bridge. That's at the Tacoma Narrows in Washington. I drove to a little park they had there. And I don't know, this thing's like 1/2 mile to 3/4 of a mile long. It's about 11 or 12 at night, and there's a very busy road with a lot of people on it. I guarantee you in 79, probably 1/2 to 3/4 of those people were high on something, And I decided that they couldn't see me. And if they did, or they would just pass through me, right? So I get out on this 4-lane highway with traffic running by me on either side of this double yellow line. And I walk about halfway down the bridge, with traffic just screaming by me. And then I walk back and get off the bridge. That was the type of things I was doing. And it took a long time to get over that. And I internalized that stress for years and years and years. And it is only through some of the spiritual practices I've done probably over the last 6 or 7 years that I've come back from that. So, and every time I go to the VA, they want to put me on some drugs that I can't even function on. I've tried them and they actually make me violent. So I just wanted to share my experience with that. And I'm sorry Marisol isn't here because I think she would understand some of that.
Absolutely.
And, yeah, my life was never the same.
I will say that when I tried the medical way, I felt the same. I felt like a zombie. I went to the psych, and because I was in the medical field for 15 years, I'm like, well, what do we do here, right? What do we tell any of our patients? To go to the psych or go to the psychologist to help deal with this depression. Well, what did they do? Send me a ton of pills that had me walking around unfunctional. I was not able to, and I'm like, I remember trying different ones with the psychiatrist. I'm like, this is not working. I can't even function. She's like, oh, give it 4 to 6 weeks. I'm like, 3 weeks. I'm like, yeah, I can't take this anymore, guys. I have to work, right? I have to try to live a life, right? And I went through like 6 or 7 medications for depression, for anxiety, for all of that. And the last one stopped me from being able to meditate. And I said, screw your medication, keep it. I don't want to go back to any psychiatrist because this is what they're taught. And that's okay because they're in a system that is built to push medication, right? So they're trained this way. We can't be mad at the systems. We have to recognize them. And so I pushed away. I'm like, no, me not being able to connect, that was my no thank you. And I just continued to focus more on practicing meditation until I was finally able to get that. I'm telling you guys, that's what saved my life. Because once you are able to quiet your mind, you're able to stop those thoughts.
Yes. Yes.
Perfect.
Yes.
So perfect, you know, and they offered me 100% disability, right? And I went to it, and then I didn't, I went to some of it. I didn't show up for some of the final. I was scared to death, and they're doing that to one of my buddies who's ex-medic been deployed twice, over in the sand pit. And once they get a hold of you, they can do anything they want to you, holding that disability out. Okay, they can drug you where you're not even safe to walk or drive a car.
Right.
I literally drooled and shuffled the up and down at the same time is what it felt like. And I had convulsions, and I've never regained my mental acuity or from that time. And that was a long time ago. It was 1979. So, and if you have a loved one in that situation, sometimes you have to have it. I had to have something to slow me down and stop me. But what they did is they just kept raising the dose, because when you can't say anything to them, finally I told them everything they wanted to hear, or I'd still be in one of those back wards today, maybe.
Right.
And I read books about what happened in Russia with, with Solzhenitsyn and all these people. They would take people and put them in psych wards if they didn't, if they complained about the communist regime, particularly if you were educated or had a voice. He's crazy, and they drug the crap out of him, rather than send them off the gulag. And that's very much what I experienced. So I won't talk anymore, and I'm sorry I was on here doing the heavy breathing.
No, that's okay, Tommy. That's quite okay. That's quite okay. There's no need to blame yourself for anything. That's quite okay. This is such an in-depth conversation. And as I listen to each one of you, I remember a story that happened in my life. And one thing that I've learned is that we have to be vigilant. When we are speaking to someone, we always pay attention to the unspoken word. Because someone may stand up in front of us and they're speaking, but we need to pay attention to what is not being said. I remember back in my country, I had a business there, and they had this woman. She was a frequent client, and one day I saw her, but when I looked at her, I know something is going on with her, and I asked her, I said, is something wrong with you? And she said no. But I didn't stop there. I was persistent. I said, you can talk to me. This is a safe space. Whatever is bothering you, you can talk to me, And she looked at me. And when she looked at me, she was processing if she should be vulnerable or not with me. Right? But as she was processing, I looked at her and I allowed her to process in that space. So when she processed, She said to me, I want to talk, but I don't know where to start. So I said to her, you can start from any point. This is a space that I'm going to give to you to start from any point. You're free, you're safe, you're being heard. So you can start from any point. And she burst into tears. And that was the door that needed to open in order for her to be herself in that moment. And she was going through a real terrible relationship with her husband. But when you look at this woman, you could never tell that she's going through that relationship with her husband, because she's all glamorous, all dressed up, driving a fancy car, all of that. All of that. She goes into her husband's business, help to run the business. All of that is happening. But behind the scenes, there's a lot of stuff that is being covered. There's a lot of stuff that is being hidden behind the scenes. So I was so observant to see that something is wrong with her when she entered into my business place. So she burst into tears. I allow her to cry. She screamed. She said, Karen, I don't know what's happening with my life, but I feel this is the last day I am living. So I turned and I looked at her and I said, this is not the last. This is the beginning of your life. I said, this is a transformation. It's going to happen right here, right now with you. And she screamed so hard. I allow her to let everything up, because you got to let everything to come out. You can't suppress, because she's been suppressing it a real long time. So everything came up. Then she calmed down and I held her hands, because I want her to feel safe. And I reached out and I held her hands and I said, you can talk. You can talk. And then she started to tell me the whole story, what is happening in her life. And she's been putting up this front for years, suppressing and putting up that front. Many of us, that is what we do. We put up a front and suppress. So she turned and she said to me, she said, you know something, Karen, in my pocketbook, there is a bottle of poison. She said to me, she said, Karen, I came here because back home in my country, I was a cosmetologist. So she came to get all fancied up and to go home and to drink that bottle of poison and just go her way, to end it all. I'm getting chills. And I said to her, I said, you know what? You're going to take that bottle of poison out from your bag and we're going to walk to the toilet. And I said, as you throw it in the toilet, you're going to speak over and get everything out that you was experiencing for all these years. And she didn't want to do it because, remember, she already conditioned her mind exactly where she want to go, right? But then I continue to empower her in that moment. I continue to speak into her life at that moment. And she got up and she walked and she went to the toilet. And then she started to throw, but as she threw it, she screamed. As she threw it, she screamed. And I said, you know what? She fell to the floor. And I said, you know what? We're going to go into prayers now. I said, we're going to go into prayers. And she sat there for almost 2 hours. But I just allow her to sit there, because remember, she got to process, she got to unpack, she got to offload. And then she came back to me and she said, Karen, she said, you're a lifesaver.
Literally.
Because she said she went to a next store before, and she said that woman didn't even notice what was happening with her. But because I was vigilant, and I'm always vigilant, and I always look for the unspoken word. So I'm telling you the story is to let you know that someone may show up in front of you, but always look for the unspoken word, because you just don't know what somebody is processing in that moment. A lot of times we are sheltering under a lot of stuff. We are sheltering there. And because we are sheltering there, we feel as though there is safe, but not knowing that's leading us up to something else. And if you're that person that is sheltering, reach out, just reach out and get the help that you need. Reach out to any one of us on this panel here this evening, because you know what? We all went through something. We're not just sitting here and speaking. We all went through something in our lives, and each one of us on this panel, we are sharing our story, and we are giving you these tips like Sohini, Saul, Joan, Tom, Marisol. We are letting you know that in order to recalibrate your nervous system, you need to do certain things. You need to do certain things to recalibrate your nervous system. It requires all of you, the whole. It requires that. Not part of you, all of you. But again, if you cannot do it on your own, reach out and get the right kind of help. Because you know what? There is so much left inside of you. There is so much left to birth inside of you. This is not the last of it. There's so much. And
Karen,
yes.
can you, I think there's part of the story that will really impact, similar to what Saul was talking about early, about the husband and why the husband behaved that way and how he was also healed. I think that.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for bringing that up, Tom. People behave a certain way with us, and we have no clue because people suppress things, as each one of us is talking about. And her husband, he was sexually abused, and he went around years with that without telling anyone. So he was reacting towards her in a particular way, and she didn't even know what was happening. She was blaming herself for his behavior. She was blaming herself. So many times, a lot of things get misinterpreted in situations. Sometimes you're blaming yourself for something, and it has really nothing to do with you. So that is why we got to be vigilant, and we got to be open, and we have to allow as well, because whenever we see, if we are dealing with an individual, we need to go a little bit deeper below the surface, not just on the surface. We need to go a little bit deeper so that we can understand the person that we are dealing with, right. And because of I helping her, he was able to change his life as well.
Right. Wow.
So the thing is that we just never know the ripple effect that we create when we just throw that pebble. Go ahead, Saul.
No. I mean, that's so touching, and how many of us as women are taught, right? Oh, we're strong. We're the strong ones. And we do,
Right.
we hold it all together. Like,
yeah,
we, as women, we take on so much. And from our ancestry, we're taught
yes,
to silence and move forward.
yes,
Enough. F the silence. It's time to speak up. It's time to not be silenced. It's time to screw what they're telling you. How many of us were told you can't say that? You'll shame the family.
yes.
How about the abuser gets shamed? How about that? Right? It's like we're hitting a whole new era at this point, and I see it, and it's beautiful because the world is evolving.
Absolutely.
And I hope that more women start getting on board to what's happening, because it's no longer time to continue being silent, right?
No,
It's no
no.
time. It's not the time to continue allowing somebody to have power over you. It is time to stand in your power, to understand you have it. And just like Marisol shared, it comes a point where you realize that everything that has happened to you holds its purpose, right?
Yes.
How many people are we able to help once we come to that realization?
Mm-hmm.
How many people can we extend the hand to say, hey, you're not alone, right? How
Yes.
many of us, while we're in it, there is nobody we think of that can help us, right? We feel we're alone, but there's
Right.
so much help out here. And especially now, because it's not just the regular routine where it is just, go to a psychologist. There's coaches that have
Mm-hmm.
been there that will hold your hand through it. Just like I was explaining earlier, it is different now. Thank God Lady K recognized that sign. You
Yeah.
almost had me crying for a second, because I was going back to when I was going through my thing. I
Mhm.
had to put on the strong face. This guy was a millionaire. Yeah, I was living the life, so called, right? But getting my behind beat, but having
Yeah.
my family threatened, getting pictures to me every time that I tried to escape this nightmare, getting pictures sent of my mom or my pops or my brother walking out of the house, that if I don't come back home, they're gonna die. Nobody knew that. My family just
Mm-hmm.
found that out a little while ago. So you have no idea what somebody's
Mm-hmm.
going through when you just
Yeah.
a helping hand would really just so please, so many women in these situations, you don't know your worth yet, and that's okay. I promise you it's
Yeah.
okay, because I didn't either. And once you connect with yourself, you take the time to meditate and really figure out, you know find that peace within yourself and find that connection with spirit. You realize how valuable you are. You realize, wow, I can't believe, and you might even get mad at yourself for allowing to be treated that way,
Right.
because then you start realizing, oh wow, wait, I got this much power and I was allowing this. What?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But you get a little cocky now, but that's
Yes.
okay. That's okay. Get cocky. It's time. It's time.
True.
It's time you stand in your power. It's time you realize we have to get mad. Get out of that. Start recognizing there is another way. And it's okay
Mm-hmm.
that since childhood, we've understand there's a programming that occurs since childhood that will bring us this way, the way that we were brought up, the way that our ancestors brought it up. Sometimes culture, brings these things about that are re-traumatizing to us, that
Mm-hmm.
we're holding in our DNA and we don't even know. We have our throat chakra blocked because our grandma didn't know how to speak up, and now we don't either. Man, we're clearing that. It's no more time for that. No, for real, right? Like, it's time. So I'm telling you, it's so powerful now. We're at a time where it's all coming to the light, and there's no more. There's no more. It is time to stand in our power. So
True.
for all
True.
of my
True.
women and
True.
men out
True.
there that are going through this, I want you to reach out. Reach out. It's time. If you're in a point where you don't know what to do, 988 is the suicide hotline, and it's anonymous and it's free. Okay. You need to just vent and get it out. You need some type of
Mm-hmm.
path. Call them real quick, before you call us. If that's what you need, if you need immediate help, call them. Get out of that state of mind. Get the help that you need, so you realize there's more to death. There's another side to this, guys. Thank God Lady K got to that lady just in time. That was just, you were angel. You were her angel at that time. Okay?
Yeah.
You were her
Yeah.
angel. And thank God
Yeah.
for you, for
Thank
that,
God.
for
Yeah.
recognizing that. So how many of us, I've lost so many friends. I have lost so many friends. How many children are now committing suicide? Let's talk
Right.
about
Yeah.
children. All right, because they're all these things they're silencing and suppressing at such a young age, being trained that. So it's time to, yes, pay attention.
Yes. Yes.
Teachers, pay
Yes.
Yeah,
attention. Say, Suhini.
yeah, actually, yeah. I want to put a question here. I want to ask you, Soul, because you are in practice since long. That's why I just uh, that one question is coming in my mind, is always comes in my mind, that why people of these days are going through so much depression and anxiety, because people in earlier days, in case of our parents, like my mother always says, why you people are becoming so much anxious in so much small things, so many. I mean, like they used to go through so many difficulties, but still they did not become like that anxious, or they never they went through depression, but they used to take things lightly. So our whether I just want to know whether our sensitivity has increased or our tolerance has reduced. Why has it been that?
The
Good
phone.
question.
The phone. I'm
Okay.
telling you. Why?
Mm-hmm.
Because now we're connected to the rest of the world because everybody's judging themselves because somebody posted on Instagram on a big ship when they don't know that they just
Mm-hmm.
went broke to look that good on Instagram, but they're broke. Or they're posting with their partner, right? And you're jealous and you don't know that they're miserable. So people are now putting a facade, and so many people are looking at that and believing and wanting that life when it's
Right.
just a facade instead of
Absolutely.
living in the present
So
moment.
that means,
Go ahead.
yeah, as we are going away from nature, as we are becoming much more mechanical and going through all these things like phone, internet usage of too much technologies are making us like too much intolerant, like, right? So we need to go back to nature, right?
Absolutely. Hands down. Yes,
That's
Yeah.
it.
ma'am.
That's it.
That's
That's the
why when I do
answer.
the retreats, yep, I do the retreats, no phones. I don't want to hear it. We are in nature, we're connected, we're present right now. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Because when you're at the retreat, at least mine, I want you disconnected so you can feel the difference.
Right.
I want you
Exactly.
not to be listen, this thing beeps. You got to see people. They're like, "Duh, duh," right? Right? So a beep is like right, like, so the anxiety is like this,
Mm-hmm.
and it's on command. It's crazy. We used to sit at a table. I'm sure your parents would sit at a table and you're all talking. Now you look at tables, even at restaurants, everybody's on their phone.
True. True.
So
Yeah,
we're not
exactly.
present anymore. We're not present. And how can we live and really engage when we are social people by nature? We need that connection by nature. So we
Yes.
do need to go back to nature. We do need to go back to our roots, but the ones that matter, right? The ones that from a place of love, from a place of being able to connect. That's why grounding is so beautiful. Grounding is so important, right?
Mhm.
Just to feel that pull back with Mother Nature. And that's why the breathing technique that I showed you guys and what I was walking you through when I was walking you through the 5 4 3 2 1, it's just a grounding
Mhm.
practice. It's just a grounding practice to remind you you're present. Get present. If you're not present, get present. Right?
Yeah,
Because we need to live in
exactly.
now. Yeah, it's super important, Sohini. I,
True.
I totally agree.
It's
And
super
one
important.
more thing. Yeah, yeah. One more thing, it's like you explained neuroplasticity very well. So I want to know, like, uh, is it is it associated with vagus nerve or vagus nerve and vagal tone? Can you shed some light on that? Like how uh, too much anxiety and depression affects our vagus nerve?
How it affects our vagus nerve. I mean, it's affecting us
Yes.
biologically. I won't speak specifically on that
Mm-hmm.
because my specialty is not there. So I don't want to speak on something I'm
Mm-hmm.
not 100% sure of. But I do
Okay.
know that the neuroplasticity, I can speak on that, right? Because I know how our brain
Mm-hmm.
works. I know that the neural connections and
Mm-hmm.
how they affect us. I know how our habits and our thoughts are affecting the neuroplasticity in our brain.
Mm-hmm.
I know how we can
Mm-hmm.
rewire our brain to make us feel different by
Mm-hmm.
changing the thought process and the words that we're using. People, something powerful that Marisol said before she had to get off, was like, I get to, right? How many of us are like,
Yeah.
oh, I got to do this? Look at the emotion that you're already putting into it as soon as you're going into it. Oh, right? How many of us, oh man, I gotta go to this. Instead of like, you know what? I have the opportunity, right? I,
Right.
I, I have the chance
Mm-hmm.
to go do this. So your whole emotion and the neurochemistry within your body, right, is completely different. So biologically, you're stepping into it differently.
Mhm.
So I know on that tip, you're gonna make me go get informed
Yeah.
though. Thank
Actually, I talked to a professional when I was going through prolonged depression period, and he said me that like my vagus nerve is it's like very sensitive. It is overactivated, so I need to calm it down. Okay, because of that vagus nerve problem, I mean my GERD, I have GERD since long, so that gets worsened. My sinus problem, my sinusitis problems got increased. So the person gave me a brief explanation about vagal tone and vagus nerve, and I am also not pretty much aware about all those medical things because I don't have specialty in all those things. But yeah, it's all about our nervous systems.
Yes.
Basically, there is also a thing that we are very much. I mean, our nervous system is is overactive sometimes. That does not mean that our nervous system is weak, but it's oversensitive, it's overactive, and things sometimes that is the reason. That is the only reason we get answers in so many tiny things, so many small things.
Our nervous
Yeah.
system is always active,
Mm-hmm.
right? We're just looking for that middle ground, right? To where there is that balance within the body. And
Yeah.
that's really all it comes down to. And emotions, I mean, these two ladies right here, the book that they wrote alone will speak for itself on why your gut is affected, right? All our emotions are coming from
Mhm.
there. So, yep, your gut and you, please read it. Please, anybody that's listening to this, please read it, because your emotions are coming from your gut. If somebody tells you something that you can't process, right? Our brain will take that like, I can't digest this. Think about it,
Mhm.
right? I can't digest this. I can't swallow this. So
Mm-hmm.
your food might not process right because you can't digest
Mhm.
it. You can't swallow what you just heard, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so literally it's figuratively taking place in a physical sense because of a thought process. So that's how powerful our
Mhm.
brain is. And this is why the importance of the words, the thoughts that we have exists, because people don't realize you're either speaking death or life into yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
everything is the nervous system. Remember, by 35, we're already programmed to be how we're going to be, right? And this is what we're fighting against because I'm 40, right? So I'm like, yeah, yeah, I'm a little late to the party, but there's some rewiring that needs to get done. If it's already established, this is why people say, oh, you only use, 2 to 6% of your brain. No, that's not true. You use all of it. It's just that only that is conscious, right? Because you're not telling your eyes to blink. Eyes blink. You're not doing that. You're not telling yourself to breathe, right? Automatically, that's happening through our subconscious, right?
Mm-hmm.
So 92% of what we've adapted to throughout the years of our life have become subconscious. And so if
Mm-hmm.
we're not aware of what our body's automatically doing, right, even the actions and behaviors, then we're just automatically going to do it because our body has adapted its way
Mm-hmm.
to that, right? We have to become conscious of what those actions and behaviors that we're taking are that are harmful to us and that are making us go that route so we can change them on a conscious level. And that's why becoming conscious and becoming aware is so important.
Lady J?
What this is such a great, I mean, one session for the 2 hours is not enough because the coverage of so much in-depthness to this topic is really enlightening. And when Marcel talk about I choose to, I love to, I get to, those are very empowering words because then we know that we have a choice.
Yes.
We get to decide what we want to do today. When we wake up in the morning, we get to decide what we want to do and and set the tone for that day. Also, when she spoke about handling the traumas, right? How do you handle the traumas? We've been through so much in our lives. Each one of us, all of us, go through different things in our lives. And how do we get to choose that? And how do we decide to look at a positive aspect of something that you've been through? Right? If you stay in a negative zone, or you look for a positive. What lesson am I learning through this? Right? Because there is something to learn from that. And when she spoke about the fight or flight, right? And that is why meditation is so important, and it's so beautiful. We started off with meditation, and when we can look at that and keep ourselves grounded, because everything is coming to us on a daily basis so much, and the constant demand on our lives on a daily basis, how do we cope? That is why our tools are super important for us to use, so we can stay grounded when each situation emerges in our lives. How do we get quiet? And that is why this discussion we're having tonight is so important, because what keeps us steady? What keeps us steady? What keeps us grounded? And when Sohini, you spoke about the tips, that how it's important to get outside, walk bare feet, get grounded, journaling, because all these are so important tools for us to do on a daily basis. Your journaling, your diary, gratitude. Gratitude is a great tool for us, because when I think sometimes when we're going through all the anxiety and everything is happening, can we stop and pause and look around and see, what am I grateful for? What do I have in my life? I can still walk, I can still talk, I can still see. The small and the little things to be grateful for. Because when so much is happening, sometimes it's hard to really focus on that.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you talk about the dopamine and serotonin, go a little deep into that, because sometimes people want to know, okay, you're talking about dopamine. Tell us how that can happen for us.
Literally, I mean, gratitude is a great way. You know, if you have, well, I like to, all right, so I'll do this. I have a little tool that I use. I call it the superpower button, right? So mine personally is like this. And the reason it's this is because it should be something that no matter where you are, even if you're in public, nobody knows what you're doing.
Right.
So you
Right.
can put your hand somewhere, whatever it is for you, create a superpower button. And that just means that you're about to activate this, and only you know so. All right. So if you're going through something, you're having negative thoughts, you're in a place where your anxiety is growing, right? I want you to push your superpower button. And when you do that, I want you to think of one thing that makes you smile. I mean, that you can't even help just thinking about it just creates the old, see, like the smile that Lady J just gave us, okay? Like that, right? Just a huge smile that makes you happy, that makes you feel full of life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I want you to concentrate on that thought. Nothing else. Don't worry about what's going on around you. Worry about that thought and only that thought. That's it. Stay like that. Stay in that thought. As long as, remember what I told you earlier, the brain does not know the difference between past, present, or future.
Yes.
So even if you're going through something at the present time, same thing with PTSD. You could hear something loud and you go back to maybe when something was thrown at you or a bomb went off, right? So the only way to change your brain and your state of being at that time is through the superpower button.
Yes.
Go into that thought that makes you smile like never before and breathe. Breathe so you can relax. Deep breaths help your nervous system relax. So breathe and continue to have that thought. Within 5 minutes, enough neurochemicals, enough serotonin and dopamine will be released throughout your body that you can't help but smile and change your state of being at the present time.
Mm-hmm.
You can make that happen in 5 minutes if you use this tool and you stick to it. If you stick to breath work and you use your superpower button and keep your mind focused on that thing that makes you smile and feel amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Like I need you to have that picture frame ready. So when you push this button, you know that's all you're going to think about. That's it. And I want you to just soak there. So your brain could feel that in the present moment. Some people told me it's the birth of their children. Some people told me it's a time they spent with their mom, right? So like it can be whatever makes your heart smile like nothing else. That you can't help but feel that, because that right there will release all the dopamine and serotonin that you need
Yes.
to change your state of being. Powerful tool, 5 minutes, change your whole state of being.
Yes.
On a biological sense.
Beautiful. Well said,
Thank you so
Saul.
much for that.
Well said.
Thank you
Well
so
said,
much.
Saul. Yeah, you know, the thing is that the world is evolving at a rapid rate, you know, and a lot of us, we're getting caught up, not realizing that we need to go into our toolbox and use our tools. You know, we are getting carried away with what's happening, you know, and we always have to have our toolkit or a toolbox and always reach for our tools and empower ourselves.
Yes, ma'am.
Because if we don't do that, we get carried away. And when we get carried away, sometimes it's a difficult time to pull ourselves back into gear, you know. So we always have to remember and always have to have the tools is necessary for us in order to keep ourselves grounded, centered, and balanced as we go through each moment of our lives. It's necessary and it's essential that we have these tools that could bring us back into that space of heart-centered, bring us back into that space of wholeness, bring us back into that space of empowering ourselves as individuals. Because if we don't do that, our nervous system, is so much things start to happen to us. So much things. So much breakdown start to happen. And then we run to the question, why is this happening to me? Not knowing we created that. You know, so we really need to pause as we're winding down 2025. We need to pause and really do a life audit and look at each area of our lives. Do that introspection. Each area of our lives, we need to look at it and see exactly where we're heading. Because a lot of times there are certain things that we really need to let go, and let go with no judgment. Let go with no judgment, you know. And I just want to read something that myself and Joan put together, you know. As we close the chapter of 2025, we want to pause and breathe in the gratitude we feel for every single one of you. Whether you've been listening on Spotify, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, or any corner of the digital world, thank you. Your presence, your message, your shares, and your quiet moments of reflection with us have shaped this community into something truly meaningful. To our beloved guests, thank you. Thank you for the courage it took to share your stories, your wisdom, and the pieces of your journey that were shaped by both tenderness and truth. Each of you brought something sacred into this space. You didn't just speak, you opened a door. You didn't just join us, you expanded us. Your presence this year felt like a series of blessings, reminders that healing is communal, that transformation is shared, and that when one person speaks from the heart, many hearts feel seen. You help us create conversations that reach beyond the microphone and into the lives of those listening in quiet moments, seeking connection, clarity, or comfort. We honor the time you gave, the energy you offered, and the spirit you carried into each episode. You help us build something meaningful, something that will continue to ripple into 2026 and beyond. May this coming year return to you the same generosity, insight, and light you shared with us. May your path be guided, your work be supported, and your voice continue to touch those who need it the most. Thank you for being part of our journey and for allowing us to be part of yours. This year has been one of growth, courage, and deep remembering. Together, we explore stories, healing, identity, and the kind of transformation that doesn't happen overnight, but unfolds gently, layer by layer. You allow this podcast to be part of your journey, and that is a gift we don't take lightly. That's to our audience. As we step into 2026, we are carrying so much hope. Hope for more conversations that empower you, the audience. Hope for more moments that remind you of your strength and your resilience. Hope for more transformation, the kind that honors where you come from and supports where you are going. Thank you for walking with us. Thank you for believing in this space. Thank you for showing up with yourselves. Wishing you a peaceful holiday season filled with warmth, connection, and rest. And introspection, the pausing, the life audits, all of that is needed at this point in time. And may 2026 meet you with clarity, success, creativity, and the kind of empowerment that changes everything in your life. The journey continues, and we are honored to share this with you. Happy journaling, happy empowering yourself, and enjoy the life audit that you're going to do on yourself. And just remember, we love you and we are here for you. We are here for you. Lady J?
That was beautiful. I just got a clap real quick.
Yeah, of course. Because we don't want to stay stuck on what we've been through.
No.
We want to use what we've been through, what we come through, what we overcame. Because as we always say, it's not the fall, it's the rise that follow after.
Yes.
What do? What are we going to use those moments to do?
Yes.
How do we rise? How do we repurpose after we come out of something? How do we stand tall?
Yes.
And I remember some of the shows that we did, we talk about stepping higher. We talk about rest, hope, and renewal. How are you deciding to transport yourself and conclude 2025 and lift yourself up? Your past does not define you.
No.
It does not define you.
No.
You want to show yourself grace in this moment.
Yes.
Show yourself grace in this moment.
Yes.
Celebrate all your wins, big or small.
Yes.
You took the first step.
Mm-hmm.
You took the initiative and you took that first step.
Mm-hmm.
And when you as you take that first step, then you can climb. Don't let the staircase frighten you. You have to put one foot in front of the other, and you find a level of strength. And that is why it's so important for the people that supports you, that hold you up, that believe in you, that say you can do this. You may have a goal, you may be struggling with something that you're trying to complete. Believe in yourself. You have what it takes. Tap into your inner being. Tap into your inner self, that inner intuition, that inner knowing that you have what it takes. You're stronger than you think. Look in yourself in the mirror and remind yourself who you are. You're special. You're amazing. You are unique. You got a special gift within you that is waiting to birth. Write yourself a love letter and look at all the great qualities that you have. And you can also put your weakness and your strength. How many things you can work on to better, because you want to live the best version of yourself so that you can empower yourself more, because every day we are becoming. Embrace who you are in this moment. You work hard to get there. Celebrate those wins. Because when you step higher and live in the best version of yourself, and you live in your highest self, things change for you. You no longer tolerate certain things because that's not you anymore. And that is why sometimes people try to hold you back, because they said, you change. You change. Who are you now? But you have evolved. You've done the work in yourself. Healing has taken place. And so you're stepping higher. You're walking in your power. And when you're walking in your power, something magnetic happens. There is where the miracle is. You live in your blessing. When you show up in a room, you're walking with your power. You command that space because you're sharing something from deep within. Because you're utilizing that what you've been through don't hold you back or don't hold you down. You've embraced that. And so you're stronger, greater experience, greater insight, new perspectives. So you can step strong. And then you're not only stepping strong, you're helping others, because we all are light carriers. And so we help others to carry their light, because sometimes they can't hold the light for themselves, but we are helping them to carry their light. So we want to tell you today, together collectively, we're saying, yes, you've been through something. You commenced 2025 with everything that you think that you thought of, that I want to accomplish this, but you've done well. You come this far, and those things that is not completed, it's okay, because maybe it's not meant to complete it at that time. 2026 is going to embrace you on a deeper level, and that you can able to blossom and bloom in a greater way that you never thought it would have been, because we talk here a lot about divine timing, right? We talk about divine timing. Remember to set those boundaries. Boundaries are very important for your well-being, so you can stay strong and practice self-care, which is so important for you. That is why we wrote the book, Self-Care is Intentional. Practice self-care so that you can serve from a full cup. You're not going to serve from an empty cup. And together, focus on your microbiome. Because when your microbiome is well, you eliminate brain fog, you eliminate fatigue, because you want to live. And not only live, you want to thrive. And you want to move with a level of vitality. So you're healthy, you're strong, and so you can give everything, because you're walking with that level of wholeness that Saul spoke about, and this discussion enlightened us about. So we want to say we love you. Embrace who you are. Be rooted in self-love. Because when you're rooted in self-love, then you know what love looks like. You know what love looks like. And so you can give love, and you can give love in a beautiful way. And remember the people who help you. Remember the people who support you.
Yes.
Remember those people who held you up when you could not even done anything for yourself.
Yes.
Remember the people who say, you can do this. Remember the people who believed in you. Remember the people who's there for you, say, I have your back. And when the down times come, because they're well, they make that phone call. They take care of you. They took care of you. Remember them. Remember them in this season. Show
Yes.
them gratitude. Write a love note, a text, or whatever way you can. And remember those things.
Yes.
That's why tonight we remember everyone who entered all the spaces that we share. We remember each one of you because we value your time. And when you enter the space and you give of yourself, you share with abundance. You share with abundance. And seeing the word abundance come up, we want you to think abundance in this season, not scarcity, because it's within you. And sometimes I want to also say that we may share with others. Don't share with no expectation.
True.
Share with no expectation because you're
True.
sharing with love. It's intentional. You're moving with intentionality. So share with love, give with love. Even if it don't come back to you, it's okay because that's not what it's about. You're planting great seeds for yourself. You're giving love for yourself because as we did a show, mindfulness and kindfulness with Monk Banty. And so, Saul, you were there. You were so blessed, and all the others amazing people who collectively we share in that space. And be kindful this season. Be mindful. And when you do that, and it carries a ripple effect because it comes back. It will return to you and to your family. So tonight, we just want to say we love all of you. It's a joy to celebrate this season with all of you. And just keep doing what you're doing because as you close out 2025, we're sending you love, we're sending you abundance, and we're sending you magnetic miracles that the season is yet to come. Your pathways will be lined with so many beautiful things that you're going to be doing. And as you continue to share and you continue to give, just more will be just pouring back for you. So we just want to send you lots of love and thank you for everything.
Saul?
I think I want to close this with a poem, if you'll allow me.
Of
Go right
course.
ahead.
Okay. So I think this goes perfect because of what Lady J. I was gonna say another one, but then Lady J brought the I remember thing. So this is called I Remembered.
Mm.
And I want everybody to know that I want you to remember who you are, how much you're worth, how much you're loved, and how much you mean. So here it goes. I didn't come here to be easy to digest.
Mm.
I came here to be true. They told me to be smaller, quieter, grateful for crumbs. I tried that. It almost broke me. So I chose myself, not because I'm selfish, but because abandoning myself was costing me my life. My softness is not weakness. My boundaries are not cruelty. And my healing is not an attack. I am not too much. You're
Mm.
just used to people who disappeared to be loved. Love is not endurance. Love is safety. And if my wholeness makes you uncomfortable, good. It means I remembered who I am. So today, remember who you are.
That was beautiful. That was
Well
beautiful.
said. Well said, Saul. Sohini? Maybe she's gone. I'm not seeing her. Yeah, the
Yeah.
beautiful thing is that
So beautiful.
There she
Okay,
goes.
there she is.
hi Sohini, can you give us some words before we leave?
Yeah. I was listening to all of you. Yeah. And Karin, whatever you wrote is amazing. Actually, I could not clap because I am holding the phone with one of my hands. So, but it was amazing
Thank
that
you.
you,
Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you. Thank you
So,
so much.
yeah,
And
thank you.
Sohini, before you go any further, I'm gonna button here a little bit. When you started 2025, right? You didn't even know
Mhm.
that you would have met me and Joan. You didn't even know that when you
Yeah.
started 2025.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and look what happened at the end of 2025.
Miracles.
Yes, exactly. Actually, you need to have trust on miracles, right? Until and unless you have trust in miracles, they are not going to happen to you. People who
Exactly.
always ask, always question, always think logically, so they are not going to witness miracles.
True.
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 So true.
Yeah. Because
So
when
true.
we want to hear universe, universe speaks. Universe speaks always, but we just don't want to hear. That's all.
Right.
And I want to say the one thing about today's session, like it was about depression, anxiety, PTSD. So actually, we are all going through so much stuff. We all, nobody is there left. No one is left from all these things. Actually, we all are going through all these things. The one thing I can say that yes, definitely, it's, you people have suggested so many things, and I wanna say that that is one thing that is going back to Mother Nature. Be socialized, talk to
Yes.
people. Yeah, and I feel less use of all these things like social media, technical things, and the less we use all these things, the more we go to more we go to social gatherings, more we go back to nature, more we surround ourselves with all the natural things like people know like all those things that makes us grounded.
Mm-hmm.
The more we going to feel good in us. So that's the I feel that's the only way through which we can regulate our emotions, our rewire our nervous systems, and get rid of a little bit of depression, anxiety, and PTSD, all those things,
Right.
anger, anxieties, whatever. Yeah. And thank you so much for giving me an opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Sohini.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you so much for getting up early because it's really early in India that you got up this morning. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much. And
Yeah.
thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for being a part of all the discussions, that you
Thank you. Thank you. Thank
participate
you so
in.
much.
We value your time. We value your wisdom. We value everything that you shared because you know
No,
what? You are
I
helping.
really feel gratitude and I am grateful to both of you. Seriously, I'm talking, I'm seriously, I'm talking from the core of my heart that I'm really grateful that you people have given me this opportunity because I always wanted to help people. I always wanted to discuss all these things, but I did not know how to do it.
The universe
You
find
both
it.
gave me that platform. Yes, yes,
There,
true.
there is where the miracle is, because as you
Hmm.
rightfully mentioned, sometimes we try to be too
Yeah.
logical, and
Yes.
being logical is good, but then something other supersedes that or exceeds that, and there is where the miracle is, because now you are on a platform, you're sharing, you're giving, you're expanding toolbox, you're giving insights, new perspective, and you are also empowering yourself. You've been, as
Hmm.
you express it, you've been through your own situation, but you continue to grow, you continue to share, you continue to give, and that is where the
Hmm.
growth is. So you're leaving 2025 stronger and better, and living the best version of yourself, and you're stepping in 2026 now in a broader space. And as you continue to show yourself love and grace, greater and amazing things are coming for you. We love you.
Yeah, thank you, Joe.
Love
Thank you,
you.
Lady J. Thank you, Lady Saul. You are truly amazing,
You are.
and
Yes.
we're so blessed to cross path with you.
Mm-hmm.
And I was so blessed that we had lunch together.
Mm-hmm.
You guys have become my family, and you know that I
I
love you.
know,
Yes,
right?
yes.
This is
Same here.
home.
Same here. Same here.
This
Same here.
is home,
Same here.
And we also in last year we met you at the Javits Center when we had that
Book
Mm-hmm.
signing.
convention,
Mm-hmm.
the conference at Javits Center. We were so blessed, that you participate and you came, and we're so grateful for that as well, and we just never know the moment that things gonna happen in our lives. We just don't know, but as Sohini said, that when we process things, whatever we are processing, that is what we attract towards ourselves. Because Sohini said that she was thinking, how can she share and give more of herself to the world? So what the universe did is responded to her call.
Exactly.
So that clearly shows us that whatever thoughts we are processing on a daily basis, that is what we are attracting towards ourselves. So that is why we got to be careful with that thought process. We got to be careful with the self-talk, what we're telling ourselves on a daily basis. We really have to focus on self and not parts of ourselves, the whole, because it's holistic. Lady J?
Yeah, no, what I just want to say something as well. I just want to add another layer there. Be careful what you ask for.
That is true.
Because that is why preparation is super important, because whatever you're asking for, if the universe will just give it to you, and then
it's going to give it to you.
Right.
You're going to get it.
Right.
Be ready.
Be ready. Right. Be ready. Be ready.
You're going to get
it. Because you got to be ready to match the moment.
Yeah. Because you've been asking for it.
You're asking.
You're asking for it. That is why the thoughts is very important. What program are you running on?
Right.
What program are you running on every single day? What radio station are you tuning to? Every minute of your life, what are you tuning into?
How is the vibration?
Exactly. It's time that we change the program. It's time that we change the frequency. It's time. Because if you are running on a program and it's not working for you, it's only attracting things that you're not looking for in your life. You are attracting those things. Nobody's doing it to you. You are attracting those things to yourself. So that is why you got to change the thought process so you can start attracting things. And that is reprogramming your subconscious mind. You got to reprogram. You got to deprogram and then reprogram.
Right.
This device here, right? Look at this simple device. If it's packed up with a lot of stuff, you got to wipe it away before you can use it. This is a simple example. So the same thing happened with our lives. Things that are not working for us, we got to get it out the way. We got to move it out the way so we can start to live and live fully and live holistically. So you know what? We just want to thank you so much for taking the time and supporting us. I'm going to repeat this for 2025. And we value you, we cherish you. And we just wanted you to know that we love you so much. And we're going to continue to support you. We're going to continue to be here for you. And we're showing up for you. Because whenever we show up in these different spaces, we are showing up for you. We are bringing food for you. We are bringing food to feed you. The menu is huge. So you got to get a good appetite. And what you can't eat, you can always give it to someone else. That's the beauty. That is the beauty, So we just want to thank you so much. And we wish you all the best. We're going to be returning in 2026. We're going to be bringing some real good stuff for you in 2026. So prepare, because we're coming. We are coming really good in 2026, And we love you all. And you know what? Just be good for you. If nothing else you can do, be good for you. Show up for you. You get the chance to choose you because you're good enough, you're special, and you're one of a kind. We love you guys. Love you so much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank
Saul, Sohini,
Merry
Marisol.
Christmas,
Saul,
everybody.
thank you.
Yeah.
Happy Christmas and happy 2026. See
Happy
you guys in
Christmas.
2026. Bye-bye.
Bye.